Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be discussing another game review video. We got a lot of game reviews to talk about, plus a handful more teams have reached the 10 game mark. How have those teams done at the first 10 games of the season? With all that coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the Internet Hockey Channel. Before we begin this video, don't forget to like this video, and if you really like to remember to subscribe down below. We're so close to 100 subscribers, so thank you for all of your support. Never be able to do this with all of you guys, so don't forget to subscribe. I know, as usual, I'm going to start off by discussing the past few games, results, and how they did. We'll follow that up by looking at a couple of teams' 10 game mark review. There have been 14 teams who have hit the 10 game mark. We also have had 14 NHL games to play over the past couple of days, so we'll get to all of that right now. First, we started out on Thursday with a couple of really good games that wound up finishing in shutouts. The Detroit Red Wings would lose to Florida Panthers 2-0 in a shutout. Detroit had a fantastic game. They had a lot of great opportunities, but Bobrovsky stood tall in the nets for the Florida Panthers, making 22 saves for the shutout. So Bobrovsky was fantastic. This game was scoreless until late in the first when Steven Lorentz, first as a member of the Florida Panthers, was able to score to put Florida up 1-0, and then Anton Lundell got an empty netter to make it 2-0. So a really close game. So for the Florida Panthers, they were able to get this huge win for themselves, beat a division rival. They're still down a couple of defensemen, so good to see them play really well defensively. Bobrovsky looked really good, so good to see Florida was able to down Detroit 2-0. Florida improves to 5-3-1 in the season. They dropped Detroit down to 6-4-1 in the year, so really good stuff from Florida. Then you had the New York Islanders shut out the Capitals 3-0. Varlamov now has back-to-back shutouts. This is sort of the game you expect the Islanders to play. They scored a quick goal 22 seconds in. They held on. They were able to score a couple more goals throughout the game. They locked it down defensively, and they win 3-0 over the Capitals. Nelson had a goal and an assist. Holmstrom and Pulak were the other two goal scorers, and Varlamov stopped all 32 shots he faced in the shutout victory. So a really great game there from Semyon Varlamov. For the Caps, it was just not enough today. Caps dropped to 4-4-1, so it was still a really good record there for the Capitals after their poor start. But they have lost the first time in the last 4 games as their 3-game winning streak comes to an end. Isles improved with the win to 5-2-2. Then you had the Columbus Blue Jackets come back, scoring 3 unanswered and beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2. Really good game there from the Jackets to come back after being down entering the third period 2-1. So really great game there from Columbus. They were able to get contributions from Jenner, who had a goal and an assist, 2 points in that game, while Branson, Marchenko, and Goudreau were the other 3 goal scorers. Meanwhile, Steven Stamkos had a goal and an assist. Connor Sheary also scores first as a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Wolves in the loss. Both dropped to 4-3-3. Jackets improved to 4-4-2 in their first 10 games. So both are really, really good right now. Jackets are doing all right. They're hanging in there at a 500 record. Bolts are just above 500. But a really good game there from the Jackets to get the win, and they improve. So a huge win there for Columbus. The New York Rangers were able to down the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 to extend their winning streak to 6 games. So Rangers look really hot right now after winning 5 in a row on the road and now being the Carolina Hurricanes, to improve to 8-2-0 in their first 10 games. Chris Kreider and Will Cooley were the 2 goal scorers for the Rangers. Cooley getting a third period goal to give the Rangers a 2-1 lead. Jarvis was the lone goal scorer for the Carolina Hurricanes in the loss as the Canes dropped to 6-5-0 in the year. So Canes still look all right, but their winning streaks come to an end while the Rangers' winning streak extended. So Rangers continue to put a little bit of space between them and the Carolina Hurricanes for first place in that division. Then we had the LA Kings take on the Ottawa Senators. The Kings were able to halt the Sens late comeback attempt. They would go up 3-0 into the second period, but then the Sens would score a couple of goals, make it 3-2 interesting, but the Kings would come away on top with a 3-2 victory to improve to 6-2-2 in their first 10 games. So a solid game there from the LA Kings. Kings got 2 assists from Adrian Kempe and then goals from Grenstrom, Deneau, and Kopitar. Meanwhile, Kubalik and Norris with the 2 goal scorers for the Sens in the loss. So Sens drop on their season to 4-5-0. So not great news for the Ottawa Senators, but they're still hovering around the 500 mark. So and it made it close at the end of the game. So it was a really good game there from the Kings, who were able to lock it down. Sens, once again, just like a couple of games ago against Buffalo, they made it close towards the end, but it was once again too little too late for the win. So Sens need to start learning to play a lot better when they're down earlier. But the Kings, once again, looking really good in that Pacific Division division early. Then we had the Boston Bruins, who blew a 2-0 lead in the second period, wind up come back to win 3-2 in a shootout over rival Toronto Maple Leafs. Boston was able to extend their point streak to 10 games, so Boston still looks extremely scary. DeBrusk and Zacha were the two scorers in regulation for the Boston Bruins, while DeBrusk and Coyle scored the shootout goals for Boston. Meanwhile, Matthews had a goal and an assist, and Marner also scored for the Leafs in the loss. So Leafs are getting good contributions from the Big Four so far this year, but they're not being able to get depth contributions, so that's something they're going to need to fix in the next little while. But the Bruins do beat up the Leafs 3-2 in a shootout. Leafs have lost a couple of games. They don't look like they're doing overly well right now. They still have a good solid 5-3-2 record, but they just don't seem to be giving themselves that much pushback against bigger teams like Boston, like LA. For Boston, they're now up to 9-1. They have 19 points in 10 games. They look absolutely phenomenal, and the Bruins look scary team to face right now. So Bruins continue their point streak. Meanwhile, the New Jersey Devils were able to come back and beat the Minnesota Wild 5-3 to improve to 6-2-1 on the season. That's a huge win for the New Jersey Devils, avoiding a couple of late comeback attempts from the Minnesota Wild. Bratt had a 4-point night, goal and 3 assists. Jack Hughes had a couple of assists in that game. And then Alex Holtz, Michael McLeod, Timo Meier, and Dougie Hamilton were the other 4 goal scorers for the New Jersey Devils. Meanwhile, for the Minnesota Wild, Marco Rossi had a goal and an assist. Matthew Boldy had 2 assists tonight in his first game back since injury, and then Middleton and Kaprizov also scored for the Wild, who dropped to 3-5-2 on the season. So the Wild have now had a really good start in their first 10 games of the season. Meanwhile, a huge win for the Devils, who continue to do really well to start the season. So Devs looked really good in this game. Once again, Hughes, Bratt looked all really well. Wild looked all right, but once again, defense is their problem. They cannot keep the puck out of their net right now, and I know Spurgeon being out right now due to injury has a lot to do with that. Then you had the Dallas Stars jump out to a 4-1 lead over Edmonton, and even after a few third-period goals, hold on for a 4-3 win over the Edmonton Oilers. So really big win for the Dallas Stars to improve to 7-1-1. Oilers were looking to use the Heritage Classic game as a bounce back to try and start winning a couple more games, and they wound up losing to the Dallas Stars. So that's really, really bad news for the Edmonton Oilers, who are now down to 2-6-1 on the year. For the Stars, they were able to get 2 goals and an assist from Rupe Hintz, a goal and 2 assists from Joe Pavelski, who both had 3-point nights. Matt Duchene also scored again for the Dallas Stars in the win. Meanwhile, Sam Gagner, who we talked about a couple of days ago, signing with the Edmonton Oilers, he played in his first game, scored 2 goals for the Edmonton Oilers. So for a team who did not have very much depth scoring, he definitely helped the Oilers in that department. And then Evander Kane had a goal and an assist for the Oilers in the loss. So not overly great news from the Oilers, who still need to work on some things defensively and offensively. They need to start not giving up multi-goal deficits before they have to try and make a comeback attempt. So Oilers need some things to work on. Stars continue to look really good. They're one of the top-end teams in the Western Conference right now, and rightfully so. They look really, really good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Dallas is a really close second in that Central Division right now, right behind Colorado. So both teams look really good, and Dallas continues to win here over the Edmonton Oilers. And then after back and forth action, the Arizona Coyotes were able to beat the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 to improve to a 5-4-1 record. Really close game, but the Arizona Coyotes were able to come away with a huge victory in this game to improve to 5-4-1 in their first 10 games. Nick Schmaltz scored twice, and Lawson Krause also scored for Arizona in the win. Meanwhile, Gallagher had a goal and an assist, and Monahan also scored for Montreal in the loss as they dropped to 5-3-2. It was a solid game from both teams. They both looked really good, but at the end of the day, Arizona was able to get that game winner thanks to their goal in the early portion of the third period from Nick Schmaltz. So Arizona was able to lock it down, get the win, and they have started with an above 500 record in their first 10 games, which is really good given the fact that a couple of years ago they had one of the worst starts in NHL history. So very good start there for the Arizona Coyotes, who are above 500 to start the season. Then you had the Seattle Kraken beat the Nashville Predators 4-2 to improve to 4-5-2. So after a horrible start, the Kraken are sort of turning things around now. They look a lot better. McCann had a goal and an assist. Schultz had 2 assists. Dumoulin, Dunn, and Bjorkstrand also scored for Seattle in the win, while Josi and Novak scored for the Preds in the loss. Preds are now down to 4-6-0 in their first 10 games. They're not looking overly well right now, and we knew that the Preds were going to have some scoring problems, so their goaltending looks still alright, but they're still having some trouble scoring, so that's going to be interesting to see as we go on. But the Preds have now had a very fantastic start in the Central Division. Meanwhile, the Seattle Kraken, like I said, they look a lot better than they did in their first few games. Maybe this is a sign of things to come. Maybe they're changing their pace around, but definitely it was a really sour start. So to see them string together a couple of wins is really fantastic for the Seattle Kraken, who are climbing up the standings right now. Then we had the Vegas Golden Knights continue their point streak, going up to 10-0-1, beating the Winnipeg Jets 5-2. Another fantastic game for the Knights, who were able to pull away in the third period after going into the third period up a goal. So really good stuff there from the Golden Knights. Marshall had a hat trick. Both Barbashev and Carlson had a goal and an assist, while Pietrangelo had 2 assists for the Vegas Golden Knights in the win. And then Iafallo and Connor both had a goal and an assist for the Jets in the loss, as Winnipeg drops to 4-4-2. So the Jets have had a pretty good start. They did not look fantastic in this game, but it was not a bad game, and they did keep it close for most of the game. Vegas continues to dominate, and Vegas continues to lead the Western Conference. 11-game point streak to begin the season. Absolutely fantastic stuff from the Golden Knights. And then in what was one of the most lopsided games of the season, the Vancouver Canucks would score at will and beat the San Jose Sharks 10-1 and destroyed them to improve to a 10-game record of 7-2-1, dropping the winless San Jose Sharks to 0-9-1. This was a goal-scoring fest for the Vancouver Canucks, who had multi-point games from a ton of players. Quinn Hughes had a 5.9 in this game with a goal and 4 assists. Brock Besser had 2 goals and an assist. JT Miller had a goal and 2 assists. Elias Pettersson had a 3-assist game. Bouvillier scored twice, this being his second one, and all clips are credited to Sportsnet, but this being his second one, giving the Canucks a I think it was 10-0 lead at that point. Maybe it was 9-0. There were a lot of really good goals there. Lafferty and Kuzmenko both had a goal and an assist from the Vancouver Canucks. Seuss and Ronick both had 2 assists in this game, while Pia Suter scores first as member of the Vancouver Canucks, and Mikheyev also scored for Vancouver in the win. Zetterlund would break the shutout bid late in the third. He'd be the lone goal scorer for the San Jose Sharks, who only have 10 goals for in 10 games. And the Vancouver Canucks absolutely smoked the San Jose Sharks 10-1. So Canucks look really good. They continue to put their best foot forward and have a really good start to the season. Sharks cannot find footing, and they are still winless. So that was a really lopsided game, but the Canucks were able to come away with the victory on. Then we had 2 games yesterday, one between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Buffalo Sabres, one between the Devils and the St. Louis Blues. Philadelphia was able to come out firing, able to go to an early 3-0 lead, and wound up beating the Buffalo Sabres 5-1. They were able to get a goal and assist from Bobby Brink, 2 assists from Farabee, and then Konechny. This goal here, Louis Belpedio's first career NHL goal, made the game 2-0 Philadelphia, and then you also had goals from Lawton and Hathaway to give the Philadelphia Flyers their win. Meanwhile, for the Buffalo Sabres, Jokiharju was the lone goal scorer for Buffalo. As they lose the game and drop to 5-6-0 on the season, Philadelphia improves to 5-5-1. So really bad loss there from the Buffalo Sabres. They were not ready to play from the get-go, and Philadelphia looked really good really early on. Looked like they were out for revenge after losing to the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday. So really good stuff there from the Philadelphia Flyers. I'll be interested to see how both these teams do in their next game. The New Jersey Devils lost Jack Hughes to injury, and they lost the game to the St. Louis Blues 4-1. Hayes had a 3-point night with 2 goals and an assist, and then both Thomas and Neighbors scored for St. Louis in the win. Lazar was the lone goal scorer for the Devils, who dropped to 6-3-1 in their first 10 games. Still a solid first 10 games from the New Jersey Devils, but they could have used a win like this, especially in a division where you had the Rangers and the Canes. The Blues, meanwhile, they're back up to 4-4-1, entering their 10th game on Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. It was a solid game from both sides, but the Blues were able to come away with the victory. They were able to score a couple of late goals. This was a really close game, but without Jack Hughes in the lineup for the remainder of the game, the Devils were not able to find their goal-scoring touch. So Devs drop to 6-3-1, and Blues with the win improved to 4-4-1. So those are the scoring reviews for the last couple of days. I do want to touch on a couple of teams who have hit the 10-game mark. First with the LA Kings. They hit the 10-game mark after beating the Ottawa Senators. They started with a 6-2-2 record for 14 points in the start of the season. They have 42 goals for, 33 goals against, a +9, and players who have over 7 points at the 10-game mark for the LA Kings. You have Mikey Anderson, who has a goal, 6 assists, 7 points. You have Quentin Byfield, who has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. You have Philip Deneau, who has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. you have Trevor Moore, who has 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. You have Anze Kopitar, who's on a point per game pace at 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. Adrian Kempe's at 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points, on pace for 91 points. And Kevin Fiala's for a goal, 11 assists, and 12 points, on pace for 90 assists and 98 points. So definitely, the Kings have had some really good starts to the season from a lot of their good players. The Columbus Blue Jackets started out 4-4-2 in their first 10 games, 10 points, 10 games. Really average start to the season for the Jackets. They start out 27 goals for, 32 goals against, a -5 rating. Provorov has 8 assists. He's currently their point leader, on pace for 66 points this year. And then Boone Jenner has 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points for the Jackets. Only 2 players who have hit over 7 points to start the season. So really interesting stuff there from the Jackets. The Bolts start out with a 4-3-3 record, so 11 points. Like I said, really good start there from the Bolts, all things considered. They have 34 goals for, 32 goals against, a +2 rating. Players who have hit 7 points at this point in time. They have Paul, who has 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. Hedman, who has a goal, 8 assists, 9 points. Then you have Stamkos, Point, and Hagel, all at point per game pace right now. Point has 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. Stamkos has 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. And Hagel has 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. Kucherov's on pace for 90 points, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points. So definitely, the Bolts have had some pretty good starts from a lot of their players. Then with the New York Rangers, they have an 8-2-0 record to start the season for 16 points. They look absolutely phenomenal. They have 30 goals for, 19 goals against, +11 in the plus-minus category. So they've looked all right to start the season. Keandre Miller has a goal and 6 assists, 7 points to start the season. Zibanejad has 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points to start the season. Chris Kreider has 7 goals, 2 assists, 9 points to start the season, on pace for around 57 goals. Adam Fox has 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. Before his injury, he was on pace to hit at least around 91 points. Not exactly sure how much the injury will impact that. And then Artemi Panarin looks like he's having a resurgence. He currently has 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points. He's on pace for 90 assists, just like Fiala is, but he's on pace for 131 points. So Panarin looks absolutely phenomenal to start the season. Then you have the Boston Bruins, who started out 9-1 for 19 points. Once again, they look fantastic too. They have 32 goals for, 16 against, a +16 record. Players who have hit the 7-point mark at the 10-game mark. Coyle has a goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Zach has 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. McAvoy has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Marchand's on a point per game pace right now with 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. And then Pastrnak has 8 goals, 6 assists, 14 points. He's on pace for 66 goals, and he's on pace for 115 points. So Pasternak's really helping this team out right now, being the team's leading point producer. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a 5-3-2 record for 12 points. They look pretty good right now. They have 32 goals for, 31 goals against, a +1 rating. Players who have hit at least 7 points at this point. They have Morgan Riley, who has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Mitch Marner, who has 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Then John Tavares has 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points, and is on pace for 98 points. Matthews has 8 goals, 4 assists, 12 points. He's on pace for 66 goals and 99 points. And then William Nylander has 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. He's on pace for 49 goals and 115 points in a career season for Nylander. If he has not proven already that he's worth a $10 million price tag, at this point in time, he's now proving it. The Minnesota Wild start out 3-5-2 for 8 points. It was not a really great start from the Wild. They have 35 goals for, 43 against, a -8 rating. So the Wild have not had a really good start to the season. Players who have hit 7 points. Middleton has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Hartman has 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points, and then 3 players on a point per game pace right now. Zuccarello has 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points, on pace for 82 points. Kaprizov has 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points, on pace for 82 points. And Eriksson Ek has 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points, on pace for 82 points. So definitely getting some goal scoring, but like I said, one of the worst goals against in the league. So their goaltending and defense does not look overly great right now. Then you had the Arizona Coyotes, who start with a 5-4-1 record for 11 points. They looked really good. They have 34 goals for, 27 goals against, a +7 rating. They look all right. Players who have hit over 7 points in their first 10 games. Sean Zersey, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. Both Cooley and Michelli have a goal, 7 assists, 8 points. Keller has 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. And Nick Schmaltz is on point per game pace right now, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points, on pace for 82 points. So really good stuff there from the Arizona Coyotes. For the Montreal Canadiens, they had a 5-3-2 record for 12 points, 30 goals for, 33 goals against, -3 rating. So they've done all right, and they definitely, like I said, gotten points where they probably shouldn't have. Players who have over 7 points at the 10-game mark, only 3. Nick Suzuki has 2 goals, 6 assists, and 8 points. Sean Monahan has 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points, on pace for 49 goals. So Monahan looks absolutely phenomenal. And then Cole Caulfield has 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points on a point-per-game pace right now. So Canadians don't have too many fantastic point players, but they do have a couple. The Nashville Predators started out with a 4-6-0 record for 8 points. They did not look good to start the season. 27 goals for, 38 against, a -3 rating. Yossi has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. O'Reilly has 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. Novak has 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. And Forsberg's their point leader right now. Currently has a goal, 8 assists, 9 points, and on pace for 74 points. So for the Preds, not overly fantastic to start the season. For the Winnipeg Jets, they started out 500, 4-4-2 for 10 points, 31 goals for, 36 goals against, a -5 rating. Really good start there. Perfetti has a goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Morrissey also has a goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Appleton has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. And then both Scheifele and Connor are on pace for 74 points. Connor's on pace for 74 points with 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points. Scheifele has 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. So Jets' average start, not fantastic, but not overly bad either. So good start there from the Jets. Then we had San Jose Sharks. Really bad start to the season. 0-9-1 for 1 point. 10 goals for, 45 goals against, a -35 rating. They're don't have any players currently at the 7-point mark in their first 10 games. The closest one to the 7-point mark is Tomas Hertl, who's currently a goal, 4 assists, 5 points. He's on pace for 41 points. That's the highest point total for San Jose Shark at this point in time. So really bad stuff there from the Sharks. Then you have the Vancouver Canucks, who has 7-2-1 record for 15 points, 46 for, 22 against, +24 rating. Players who have over 7 points. Kuzmenko has 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Ronick has 10 assists. He's on pace for 82 assists right now, so he's looked good. Besser has 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points. He's on pace for 66 goals and 107 points. Hughes has 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points. He's on pace for 98 assists and 131 points. Miller has 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. He's on pace for 131 points. And Elias Pettersson has 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points. He's on pace for 166 points and 115 assists. The Canucks are absolutely outstanding right now. I don't think any of those players can keep up that pace, but the Canucks, big boys, are really producing right now for Vancouver. And then lastly here with the New Jersey Devils, they have a 6-3-1 record for 13 points, 39 goals for, 37 goals against, +2. If you look at the players who have hit the 7-point mark, Luke Hughes has his goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Dougie Hamilton has 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. Meyer has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Toffoli has 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points, on pace for 57 goals. Jesper Bratt has 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points, on pace for 147 points. And Jack Hughes, before he got injured, had 5 goals, 15 assists, 20 points. He was on pace for 164 points and 123 assists. That's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm not sure if the Jack Hughes injury will slow him down or if he'll be able to keep up that pace, but that's absolutely a fantastic pace right now for Jack Hughes. But definitely, those are your teams who have hit the 10-game mark. Teams who I'm overly concerned about, like I said, in the past. Over the past 5 full seasons, a 2-game season, so not the COVID seasons, so the last 2 seasons plus the 3 seasons before the COVID season. Of those 5 seasons, of the 28 teams who had 8 points or less at the 10-game mark, only one was able to get in the playoffs. So far this year, player teams who have had 8 points or less to start the season, the Minnesota Wild have had 8 points. The Nashville Predators have had 8 points. The Seattle Kraken have had 8 points. The Calgary Flames have had 5 points, and the San Jose Sharks have only had 1 point. Those 5 teams have had 8 points or lower at that 10-game mark. So that does not look good for those 5 teams. And it's quite possible that all of Seattle, Minnesota, Calgary, Nashville, and San Jose wind up missing the playoffs this year because of poor starts. So it's something really interesting to see, but that's all I'm going to talk about here today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Which were your surprising games from over the past couple of days? Were there any surprises that hit you? And do you think any of those teams that just listed, Nashville, Minnesota, Seattle, Calgary, or San Jose, will wind up missing the playoffs? because of their poor starts? And is there any other teams who you think could have a poor start who finishes their 10th game today who also may wind up missing the playoffs because of their slow starts? Definitely. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments, but that's all I'm going to talk about for today. So don't forget to like this video, and if you liked it, remember to subscribe down below. We are so close to 200 subscribers. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys, so don't forget to subscribe. I also do a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so definitely check that out. I'll leave links down in the description below, and I can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.